Now, I usually don't talk about it that much with my chavrusas, the chavrusa who's really, like laying out a lot of the things that we're learning. Uh, his father was a creator of several things in Hollywood. He was a Hollywood writer. And he actually was involved in the creation of the concept of Star Trek, Spock, and all these different people. The whole concept there. He wasn't a plot writer for any particular episode, though it was the concept. He created concept. Well, we are also exploring in space. It's not that we're lost, but we are. And El Malasia is a dark place. And as a result of that, we only know that we're here. We can't go backwards. We're constantly thinking about the future. And our present could be difficult. That's the nature of this world. Here we are going into trying to find the root of what makes the world difficult. And that is like flying through space, but it's inner space, looking for the light, looking for the light of God, so we can understand our position. This is a higher level of consciousness, and it is the level that the Mashiach will bring us to. So we actually understand why we're here and what is going on, and understand more than anything else, to understand HaShem. His karvus to Hashem, coming near to Hashem, being one with infinity and beauty. So this is where we're at. Now, we went over yesterday and we looked at this. I looked at it again. There is what he's going to do here is the RASHASH is going to do. He's going to break these words up and he's going to talk about it. So he says, Baruch Shem Kavod. Now this is all Shefa that he says is going to the Keser of Leah. I think, where is Leah coming into this? Leah is from the midnight onwards, is a progression of the Yichud of Yaakov and Leah. Now Leah is the Akarat Abai at this point, I guess, because Rachel Malchus is in Galus. Now, what are we trying to accomplish here? Well, this is what he Yakavin the Hamsha, the Keser, the Leah, Dalet Alafim, these 4 Alafim, that each one of them has 4 Alafim associated with it. Dalet Alafim Peshutna, the Dalet Levushim, which are a part of the 4 different Levushim of the Dalet Mochim, the Bina Dezah, of the 4 Mochim of the Bina of Zer Anpin. Now this is all loaded up in the Dalet Mochim, which are Chochma, Bina, Chesed the Das, and Gavuras the Das. But the Dalet Mochim, the Bina, of the 4 Mochim of Bina, the Zer Anpin. So, like, once again, it's the Chabad, the Zah. Called Echad, Kalu Medalad, each one of them has within it another 4. The Fisha Dalad, the Echad, because of the Dalad of Echad, which was the last word you said in the Kriya Shema by the Karbanos, is the last letter, is the Dalad. So he goes with Dalad, the Dalad means 4. The Dalad, the Echad, Gedol, Kadeh, the Kadalad Dalsim, like 4. Now, we just read it. That's what it says, and then he shows it to us. Then he says, Yekavin lohoyer mechabad dezah lechabad delaya. So now you should have this idea here, to shine from the 3 top spheros of Zer Anpin, or actually the Chabad, the Mochin of Zer Anpin, into the Chabad, which is the Mochin of Leah. Now, where is Zer Anpin and where is Leah? Well, the top of Zer Anpin is his head, and Leah is on his back, all the way up at the same length as he is. Yekavin lohoyer mechabad dezah lechabad Leah. So this is what we're going to do, and here's the Chochmah, here's the Bina, and here's the Das. And he says you're going to say the word Baruch and it's going to bring these going to be Mechachma de Zer Anpin. This is what comes out of the Chachma de Zer Anpin. This is the name which we call Kasa. 161, Gematria 161. It's the same concept. It's interesting. I don't know how they go together, but it's the same concept as Kesef. Kesef is 160. And so there are some cures for different Kabbalistic things that I've been shown. I mean, I don't practice them, but I've been shown that have this combo. Anyway, he says this is what it looks like. It's Kasa. And it's going to the Hachen, to the right line of the parts of Chabad de Leah. So that's the first thing to get over is what's going on with the Chabad of Leah. Why are we building up the Chabad of Leah? What's so important about Leah? Well, Leah, we want to bring her around to the front and have a yichud with Zeranpin. Take it back, a yichud with Yaakov. Lamalam and Achaza. So exactly how that works, I don't know. So then after that, we're going to go to the left line. That's what we do, right line, left line, and then the balance line, the middle line. The Bina Dezah, it's going to come from the Bina Dezah. Remember, we're trying to transfer this to the Nook. And once again, it's the concept of Kasa. Labaga, the parts of Chabad, the Leah. So it goes to the left line, the Bina, the Gevura, and the Hod of the parts of Chabad, the Leah of the. So he's telling us that in the place of the Chabad of Leah, Kavayahu, for this line to have three lines, and here's the second one, the left line. That's the Chabad of Leah, and then it comes Badas Dezah, so Midas Dezah. The word Kavod refers to the Das of Zeranpin, and in there you have two different Malchim. The Kamag, this is a Gematria 143, the Kamag, and the Kone. One represents the Chesed and the Das, and the word Kone, which is Gematria 151, refers to the Gevuras of Das. Where is it going? L'chug, the Chesedim and the Gevuras, the Date, the parts of Chabad de Leah. All of this is supposed to go into Leah. Now the big mystery here in deep inner space is what are we doing with Leah? I mean, it's morning time. Or is this sort of like the Makabapatish, like you're really finishing the completion of Leah right here by bringing these Mochim to Zer Anpin, the Chabad to Zer Anpin, into the Chabad of Leah. Is that what's going on? Okay, so then he says, here's a new idea. And, Rabbi Memran said, don't ask why. So he says, Yakavin la'avos perik elyon de Netzach. So let's say Netzach is the right leg, and it has three joints in it. What we're going to do is we're going to lift up, to elevate the upper joint, which I guess is from the hip to the knee, the ma'u ben, of both aspects, that is the male and the female aspect, im gimel pamem chesed, with the gimel parkim, that's right, I said it wrong, im gimel prakim chesed, so you're taking the hip level, and you're pushing it onto the right arm. Then you have daled pirkim, the chesed, so that you have built up chesed, and you've made it, instead of 3 pirkim, now it's 4, keneged daled osius baruch, and all of that refers to the osius of baruch. Now, I don't know, this is somewhere in between a meditation, because you have to be able to picture this in your mind, because we see from other places that what's actually happening over here is that this is the world that we see in the shir this morning of the maskilin, seichel, mind, ability of the mind to grasp these paths, bring shefa. Okay, so we'll go over to the word shame now. We said it was the word baruch, right? Baruch is going to bring in these Dalet Pirkin. He's going to make Dalet Pirkin in the right arm of Zeranpin or something like that. He says shame. He says down here Yekavin the Hasher. So he says they have this idea. Those remaining base prokim taktonin the netzach the ma uben the netzach of. So he keeps bringing ma ben, and he's telling us that everything has a male female part to it. Sometimes it's ma de ma and the ma de ben. Sometimes it's ma de ma u ben de ma. So which one is it? It's a little confusing. So anyway, v'yakavin lahasher beis prokim taktona the netzach the ma u ben, the netzach of these two. Benetzach deza to the netzach azah, v'hem keneged bebeis osius shame. Let me read it again because getting lost in where he's going. We have given away the upper parak of netzach and combined it with chesed. Now there were two remaining prokim of netzach. So he's going to deal with them here. And he said, Yekavin lahasher beis pirkim taktona the netzach, the ma'u ben, which always comes male and female. Benetzach deza, you're going to attach it to the netzach zah. Okay, so the upper parak of the netzach zah, and why is netzach over here on this side? But it is the ma'u ben benetzach deza. So you're going to take the lower two, which will remain behind after the upper one was attached to chesed zah. Now you're going to take them and you're going to attach them to the netzach zav, v'hem keneged bebeis osius shin and mem. Now that last part, which means either shame or sham. So which one is it, or is it both? Okay, so let's go on to the next. All we could do here, all I can do, the best I can do, is explore. This is the world of RASHASH. It dropped me into the Chabad of Leah, the Chabad of Zeranpin. What's going on? We can only get it by going forward. That's the way it is there's no past here. Then he says, when he said the word kavod, which comes from the das, and it has the chesed of the das and the gevuras the das, going to the chesed and the gevuras the dati. Now that's interesting, the dati, because dati means das, teferis, and yesod, not just das, but the teferis is going all the way down the middle line, the parts of Chabad Leah. So going into that parts of the Chabad Leah. So he said, Yekaven Barosh Tevos. Now look at the words like this. He said, the Barosh Tevos Baruch Shem Kavod. Now this is a whole meditation. Honestly, I want to daven as much as I can in a minyan. They're all going to work. They're younger people. They're going to work and they're flying. So it's very difficult to conceive of this. So what it is that this is a form of prayer that we're doing right now. It's an attempt to find the light. So he said, Yekaven Barosh Tevos Baruch Shem Kavod, which is Beis, Shin, and Kaf, which is 322. Gematria Shokov. It comes to here. This is Gematria. Kamizbar Beis Kasa. It's Shokov is, if you add Kasa, is 161. A lot of times they count to 160, like the Gematria of Hakesef, maybe. So 161 and 161 is 322. But in Shachim, the Chub, the Leah, and all of this, then, this whole thing. Now, I don't know why he went to 322, but he did. He said that seemed to be important. A base times the number 161. Then in Shachim, the Chub, the Leah, all of this is going to go to the Chochmah and Bina of Leah. The Shar HaOsios, Gematria Kamag Vakona. So the rest of the combinations of letters, which is this is Kamag 143, and this is Kana 151. Bashar ha'osius gematria Kamag and Kana. Chaser Yud Valid, Yud Vav, so he says it's if you add these two together, which is 143 and 151, something 290 something, 290, 153, 151, 294. Let's see. Chasaron 16, it's missing 16 Shanasta Bekesser and Leah that are given to Kesser and Leah. So you took the number, whatever the gematria was. I could look it up. I'm just, let's see. We got 143 plus 151 equals 294. That's what I said, actually. So, but I want to make sure that I know that. I'm going to write it on there in case I ever get over here in another time. So he said with base Shakaf base Mispar base Kasa Nimshachin Lechub Delay that goes to the Chub Delay. The Shahar Osius, which gematria is of Kamag and Kana, these two Kana, Kamag and Kana. Chaser Yud base, so let's say that gives you the 320. Let's see, plus 1, what did he say? Chaser Yud Vav, rather, equals 310. Chaser Yud Vav, Shanasla Bekesser de Leah, that was put into the Kesser of Leah, Vahem Keneged Bebeis Mochin, the Chub, and they correspond to the two Mochin of Chachma and Bina, of Chesadim and Gevuros, V'nimshachim B'chug Didati de Leah, and they flow down there into the Chesadim and the Gevuros, which are found in the middle line of Leah. Well, so back into the rocket ship again. One of these, this father that was talking about, one of the books that he had produced actually a television show, which was called Lost in Space. It's from my era. I never really was attracted to it, but it was like a family and a robot. It's like the pet dog, flying through space and they don't know how to find their way back. They're lost in space. Well, in a way, that's a very good metaphor for the world we're in. We find ourselves growing in a world like this. I'm growing older now, so I passed a certain level of youth. Things keep changing. And we have to be able to find our way through this world. The RASHASH is telling us this is a very deep path. Unfortunately, it's more than I know. So now he says, the very bottom of this page, he says, Yekavin la'alos perik elyon dehod, the ben dezah, that is in the female aspect of the im gimel prokim gevurim, gevura, together with 3 prokim of gevura. So you're going to take, this is the same pattern that we saw over here, which is in talking about Netzach. So Hod is going to do the same thing. The pairing Elyon, the Hod is going to attach itself to the female aspect as they're unpinned to the ben, because the ben, that's the left side. Im Gimel Pamim Gevura, with 3 different times, with a thing, prokim, it's not Pamim, it's 3 prokim, 3 joints of Gevura. Hare Dalid Pamim Gevura, so now you have 4 pieces of Gevura, the Zak and Neged Dalid Osius Kavod, they correspond to that. So here, we had a Baruch, which was 4 letters, and he talked about the 4 prokim, making 4 prokim. He says, what he's saying, he says, this is actually what happens. Not that I can understand why it's here. So he just shows us what it is. This is what's happening when you say the words Baruch Shem Kavod. Now, if you learn it well enough, then it's possible even in this, what I call the speed minyanim, which is where you find everything is going really, really fast, at least around me. Now, maybe there's some yeshiva minyanim that are different. They tend to be Ashkenaz, and Ashkenaz a lot of times obscures the, the wealth of the, I think, of the wealth of the Sidur. Just run through it, which is okay, I guess. Now, let's go back over here to the top, because now what's going to happen is after he said Baruch Shem Kavod, you get to the word Malchuso, and he's going to analyze what happens when you say this word. Now, this is the magic of connecting to a higher flow. And then he goes into La'olam and Voed. All of these names have a real serious significance. And we're going to find out about them, with God's help. Let's just read a little bit more from the top, because I went through it yesterday, and a lot of times, I have to go through these things sometimes 3 times to be able to see where the light is located, or see where my channel for accessing the light is located. It says this is the Hakdama, the Kavanas of Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuso L'Olam Voed. All of those words. So we just got a little analysis here of when you say Baruch Shem Kavod, what goes over there, how these is affecting Leah, what we're trying to transfer. He said, "B'kavanas Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuso L'Olam Voed." Yesh Gimel Mene Kavanas Ve'eluhem. Now, I'm not going to go into all of them, I don't think, because I think it's just too much for me. So let me look over here. The first one he says, and I guess these 2 parakim refer to the first and the first. So he says, Amochem the godless, the Zer Anpin, Shanolul B'Kriya Shema, that were given, that gave birth to the Kriya Shema. So he's saying right here that godless is their anpin. When we said the Kriya Shema B'Karbanos, there is I guess it's the Zat of godless comes in at this time. I don't know, because it doesn't stay. But they're not able to continue their travels into the Nuk Rachel, which causes the ultimate Yichud. Because she has been in Bria. And the size of Bria, the whole size of Bria, is much smaller than Itzilus. Now, this is, even though it's an olam by itself and it has its own aspects, which we see in different places, but nonetheless, it's much smaller. I think I've seen that. So he says, Katana Rababriya, she's really just a dot. But now, even let's say now, because this is the transfer time between let's say the Memshalos of Leah, where she is the entire backside of Zer Anpin, and there's a yichud that's taking place with Yaakov Avinu, with Yaakov, the parts of Yaakov. The transition to where Rachel is coming back into Olam Atzilus. So he says, let's go. Even if she makes her way back, she's back in Atzilus again. The yearning is over. The morning is beginning. It was only for that moment. But take if Yarda the Bria, and she immediately goes back into Bria again. So he's saying that when you said the Kriya Shema, I guess all the way through the Dalit like that, I'm guessing this way means. Anyway, you said the Kriya Shema, you brought in Mokli Godless, but the Mokli Godless were blocked. They couldn't get through to actually make a yichud with the Nok. So then he says, Uvatevis Malchusa, which is what we're going to get to next. Nimshachim Tziki Kedera there's a concept here. These are spices for the stew pot, so to speak. So v'nimshachim siki gedera, and what is siki gedera? He says, v'hem yud pamim akyat b'shutim. That's 10 times akyat b'shutim, which is a gematria of siki. Siki is 100, 90 and 10, 200 and 10. That's 10 times 21. Akyat, I will be. Malavushi chug dedas dezah. This is clothing. This yud pamim ekis are the clothing of the chasadim and the gevuros dedas dezeranpen. I just have to take that as a fact. I don't know. He's saying he says siki gedera refers to a lavush that covers over the chasadim and gevuros the das the zeranpen. Where does it go? This lavush, Nikudat Kesef the Rachel to the top of Rachel. Rachel is below zeranpen. I'm thinking Kesef the Rachel Hanikra Kedera, and she's called Kedera because Kedera is a lashon of a pot. It's lashon of a kli. She's the ultimate kli. Shehu begematria Elokim de Yudin, which is, he says that Rachel Hanikra Kedera is let's look at this, is 104, 114, 314 plus 5 is 319, which is basically 320. Is that what it was? Shehu begematria Elokim de Yudin. It's 300. And Yud Gimel Osius Miluo, and then if you could make a milui, I guess, out of the word Kedera, I don't know, I guess it means Elokim. There are 13 letters that go with the milui of Elokim. Vehe Osius, which would give you what? You're at Elokim de Yudin, which is 300 plus 13, Osius of its milui, and then another 318, Osius Shorshav HaKolel, the letters of the Shorish, and then a Kolel, you're at 319 or 320, I'm not sure which one, but we are going to see it in the next time. We're zeichet to have a shir like this. This is Baruch Fleischman. I want to thank Hashem for the chance to be able to look, even though I'm a little lost in space, to try to find what the RASHASH is leading me to.